Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought that, like, the Gen 4 Pokemon remakes would actually bring something of value to the table? That's a recording of the Route 228 through Route 230 theme. Only, it's not, you know, a chiptune. It's a pretty damn good arrangement, not gonna lie. As a jazz studies major, it brings peace to my soul. Speaking of peace, hello. It's Salmon Run. Nothing brings me more peace than this mode. So today's gonna be another really relaxing Salmon Run stream. Nothing special. Just 2 rotations like we like to do. Lately that's been my shtick. Every time there's an opportunity to do 2 back-to-back rotations in Salmon Run, we do. We stream it. So there is one thing I wanted to update you on. I've been like fiddling around with audio settings and it's been driving me crazy. Genuinely. And on a whim, like, I haven't, since I got this computer, I haven't downloaded a DAW because I just haven't needed it. DAW being DAW, Digital Audio Workstation. I just haven't needed one. So on a whim, here, let me change something. There we go. On a whim, I downloaded the classic, the free, old school favorite, Audacity. Just to like, record in 2 places at once to see if I could figure anything out, and wouldn't you know it, my mic is just peaking constantly. Turns out the gain was too high on the mic itself, and all my filters were just compensating for it. So I've reacclimated all my settings to that. So we should have a better mic quality now. Granted, there are still hiccups, which is kind of why I'm streaming right now, because I need to get a good test run of this. That's enough of that, though. That was a song from Bastion, by the way. Crazy game. It's really cool that they took off with Hades after having so many like moderate successes like Bastion and Transistor. There was one more in between then. I used to love these guys. I still haven't played Hades. You know, it's weird. Check this out. I think it's at the very bottom. Yep. I bought it for like $2 a while back when it was really on sale. I still haven't played it. I know it's good. I've heard it's really, really good. One of these days, I'll get into it. I wasn't in the mood for roguelike, roguelite. I wasn't in the mood for that kind of game. But now, I mean, I've been playing a lot of Risk of Rain too. So, no. I'm happy with this guy. Alright. So, here's what you have to look forward to today. A nice, relaxing Mumph stream. Here are our rotations. It is currently 6:30, so we have an hour and a half of this, which is gonna be a little painful. Not gonna be great, I won't lie. Dualies, Wiper, Brella, and Leader. Everyone is great there except for the Leader. And at least Leader has a niche, so it's gonna be a decent rotation. And then we have this. Every single weapon in this is fun. So that's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good day. Collect egg, I am at peace. You know what? Cephalorock, that guy, he's actually another Splatoon creator. But I have a bone to pick with him. And I don't know if I'll be able to show it on stream. Because there was something that was happening back in the day that was driving me crazy. And I still have a bind. Why do I still have a bind on? Let me just change my bind real quick. I think I was playing Paintbrush earlier. I hadn't gotten to try it out since they buffed it. Oh, it's good. Oh, it's real crazy. Not like balanced really well because the kits are still like a little painful, but it feels pretty good to use. I have been playing so much Splatoon. So much. My playtime might even have shot up from 1500 to 1600. It's just such a good game. Oh, I got a new title card banner thing. A new camo. Just dropped. Which I was surprised by because I normally don't get jack from the machines. So, today is another audio experiment test. As, I'm sure you're sick of at this point, because I've been doing that for so many streams now. But when we get it right, that's all I need. Just one perfect setting, and I'm hoping this is it. Alright, before we get too into the thick of all the things, we're off to a great start. I would like to talk about this rotation, because these weapons are actually pretty good. E-liter is really slow, and is a little painful. But, I mean, it does 600 damage per shot if you fully charge it. It can one-shot most enemies. Oh god! Maybe I'm washed up. If possible. But also, I really, really like Brella in this mode. Granted, the paint, you know, it's Brella paint, it could be better. I'll help you, leader. Oh, this was a bad idea, wasn't it? Die to the shark. I'm such a bastard. What have I done? Yeah, that's entirely my fault. Well, this is, off to a fantastic start. Granted, this is High Tide on Smokeyard, which is one of the most claustrophobic maps in the entire game. We're not gonna make it. Nope, we ain't gonna make it. Good enough. Good enough for me. We're starting at, I think, EVP 200 or 300? So we're starting up there. Every time we do a Salmon and Smokeyard stream, we struggle a little bit. Even when the rotation's good, it's a bit painful, especially when it's High Tide, because that map is miserable on High Tide. So, to talk about these weapons, I really, really like Brella in this mode. It's great for glowflies, it's great for single target DPS, and it's not even particularly bad against big groups. As long as they're not surrounding you. That's the one issue that Brella's run into. If they get surrounded, they just can't defend themselves on all angles at once. They just can't. Doesn't work that way. But the DPS on Brella is amazing. And speaking of amazing, Wiper is like a top 5 weapon in this mode. For a number of reasons. I just like to leap and charge. It makes me feel good. Yeah, we triple bombed that guy. So, having Wiper is going to be great in this rotation. So we have Wiper and Brella for really, really high damage. So more often than not, we're going to have the strength to take out big... No, not big groups. The other thing. To take out high HP targets. Unfortunately, nothing in our comp is particularly good at handling fish sticks. Dualies maybe. Dualies maybe. But the big issue with this comp is AoE. There's none. The best you can do for a multi-hit is E-liter's Pierce attack, and I guess the melee hit with the, with the Wiper. Technically, you can hit multiple enemies at once. But that's not much in terms of AoE. Oh my god! I died to someone else's message! It's fine. All in all, it's a bunch of fun weapons that come together to make a rotation that's a little challenging, and on this map, of all places, it's not gonna be free. But we'll be here for a bit. So, you know, better get comfortable. I have a couple things that I would love to talk about today. Are we gonna lose again? Not if I can help it. Oh. I did it. The team had it for me, it's fine. Yeah, there's not a lot of space to go around in this map. Kinda painful. But, hey, we love it anyways. It's Salmon mode. It's Salmon mode. We love the salmon music. We love the salmon. We love how they run. See how they run. I've got some games that I've been thinking about playing. Unfortunately, I woke up really late today. Like, really, really late. Which might be, it might be a warning about something to come tomorrow. Normally, I've kind of realized I like to stream on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So I can do bigger streams on every day that isn't Monday, and Monday I can just do a small stream and hopefully have it uploaded on the VOD channel before the day is up. Oh, that was embarrassing! See, the Pierce is worth something. It's not horrible. But because it's like the only AoE this comp has, it's a little painful. Where was I? Oh yeah. So, because I woke up so late, and because I struggle with insomnia, there's a very real possibility that I just don't sleep tonight, and stream instead at like 6 AM tomorrow morning. 6 AM, whereas it is now 6 PM my time. My time. This is my time. Eastern. US. Oh, please, no! Going in. We have this. We got this. Easy. So, you know, keep an eye out. I might be streaming tomorrow morning at fucking 6 AM. The best time. The classic Mumph 3 o'clock. Granted, I would probably prefer not to do that, but here's the deal. If we are going to be streaming at 6 AM, I have to find a game that I can play off of very little sleep. A game that I can, like, play with my brain fully off. There are not that many games that fit that description, unfortunately. I know Pikmin 2 is off the table, because we've hit the second half of Pikmin 2 where the game gets really difficult. By the way, here's the other funny thing about Brellas. They can just punch you through the Brella. So, it's not too worthwhile to hold the Brella out. They can just punch you right through it. So, the use with the Brella in this mode is the shield flare, and then taking out the lesser enemies, which is, I mean, it's something. It ain't nothing, you know? So, tomorrow morning, either I will be asleep and pushing the stream to a different time and maybe having a slightly different schedule this week, which, I mean, we don't really have a fixed schedule here on the Mumph stream. Here on the Mumph channel. Uh-oh. But I might have to play something, like, crazy relaxing. Something that isn't even remotely difficult, something that we haven't played before. Because if it gets difficult, I'm gonna struggle. I'm gonna have a bad time. And I'm thinking about Wobble Dogs. I'm actually, like, considering Wobble Dogs already. Because it is the perfect game for this. There are other games where the game basically plays itself, but you have to do a little bit of... what's the word? Preemptive thought. Like Dwarf Fortress, I've been thinking about as well. But that's maybe gonna be a challenge, because it is not a mindless fun game. You have to put a lot of thought into what you're doing in Dwarf Fortress. But once the things are done... Oh god. Sorry, I don't know what came over me. Once the things are done, it should be easy to just let the game play itself. So if I'm still, like, awake enough, come 6 AM, then yeah, we could give Dwarf Fortress a shot. That'd be pretty fun. I love that game. I've not talked about it even once. But Dwarf Fortress and RimWorld are both in my top 10. I think they are either 5 and 6, or 7 and 8. and they kind of tie for the same place. Different days, I'll have them in different spots with each other. But the thing is, they're both, like, very different to each other. Like, in RimWorld, you're a lot more concerted with the individual experience of each character. It's, a lot more on the micro scale. And it's really good for that, because it does something that Dwarf Fortress doesn't do, and that's, like, letting you tell your colonists to do very specific things. Like, hey, go over here, build this now, cut that tree down, that specific tree, because it's bothering me, get rid of it, and do it now. You can do stuff like that in RimWorld, but in Dwarf Fortress, any, like, commands you make are more of a suggestion. Like, you can have one tree on the map marked for woodcutting, and one dwarf that is specifically woodcutter only. That's all he does. And days will go by of him just, like, napping the day away, drinking heavily. And you'll just be sitting there like, I need wood, dude, please, please just cut the tree down. And it won't happen. But the game's really fun for that, because it ends up making it feel like you have all these characters that you're genuinely taking care of with completely differing personalities and means of operating in the world they're in. It is a really, really good game, Dwarf Fortress, and I wanted to get into it a long time ago, but I couldn't stomach the ASCII art version of the game. Yeah, go, leader. Not to say the ASCII art version was bad or anything, but it wasn't intuitive for someone trying to learn the game. That much can be said for certain. I'll defend you to my last breath, leader. You're my guy. This is a great comp for grillers, actually, like... Oh! Granted, it's still a smoke yard. I was about to call it Marooner's Bay. That it is definitely not. Ah, shit. All's well in the neighborhood. So when the Steam release of Dwarf Fortress came out, no. I got really, really into it. Like, immediately sunk a good 400 hours into the game. Immediately. Like, it was the only thing I was playing for a good month. Beautiful. And I've since sunk another 200 hours into it every now and again. It's really, really cool. I love that game. And I wish more people would, like, get exposed to it. Because it is a very, very cool game. It's just like even the Steam release is a little convoluted to learn. And the tutorial doesn't really teach you too much, unfortunately. Luckily, there's like a million guides out there on the internet to teach you how the hell the game works. The thing that actually got me introduced to Dwarf Fortress is a YouTuber who goes by Krugsmash, which is a great name for a dwarf YouTuber. DF-tuber. We've discussed the TF-tubers in Team Fortress 2. This is the DF-tuber. And what Krugsmash did, I give him mad props for this, because it was genuinely, like, hard to look away from, and I loved looking at it any chance I got. He would do art constantly to represent what was going on in his Dwarf Fortress file, but here's the catch. It was all done in colored pencil, of all things. And some of the things he is able to do with a colored pencil blow my mind. I might even, like, in between rounds, I might even see if I can pull up just a screenshot of one of his episodes, because just, like, everything he draws, it's gorgeous. It blows my mind a little bit that a colored pencil could even do these things. Well, that was unfortunate. But yeah, he would do little stories of different forts and how they were playing out. He still does. But considering that he draws everything himself and in colored pencil, It's a lot of work to get a video out for him. So he doesn't get to post too much. Which means the algorithm is upset. The algorithm hated that. I'm gonna try to pull it up real quick. To see if I could find it. Because there's a certain scape that I'm thinking of. Oh, there it is. Hell yeah. What's the best way to go about this? Alright, here's what I'm doing. I'm gonna let the thing play out until I see the exact vista I'm looking for. Then I'll pull it up on stream. Back when I was teaching at an elementary school, we dabbled in art and studying line work and things of that nature. And I took a screenshot of this and I showed so many kids. Because this does blow my mind, and it blew their minds too. I mean, granted, they're kids. And knowing that this is done in colored pencil is a bit of a mind blower. But I've got it pulled up now. If you're at all interested in seeing what Dwarf Fortress is about, but you don't quite want to learn it yet because it's really complicated, I can't recommend him enough. Before the Steam release, he had to draw literally everything, and it was kind of amazing, impressive, a lot of adjectives. Now, because the game has graphics, he doesn't have to draw everything, but somehow the quality of his upload does not dip. High recommendees to friendies. RimWorld, on the other hand, I played for a good 1,000 hours. It was I played it first, just because it was like, when I got into the whole, like, colony simulator genre, it was the most easy to pick up of all of them. Believe it or not, my first game of that variety was perhaps like the most complex thing in the genre. Stellaris. It's a colony simulator that takes place in space that is as complex as... oh no. As complex as that premise will allow. Well... oh man. We're back. We're so back. I've been on autopilot for the last 20 minutes, and that's not gonna change for the next couple of hours. But, you know, buckle up. It's so easy to autopilot in this game. And, not always to my own, like, detriment. Usually it's a good thing. I feel like my autopilot I've trained up to be pretty decent at Salmon Run. So I trust him. I'll leave the autopilot enabled. I don't booyah back, by the way. It's part of my title, Evil Player. I couldn't quite be an evil player if I booyah'd back all the time. So, before we get too far away from the topic of colony simulators, Stellaris is horribly complicated, and I honestly can't recommend it. Which is sad, because I went through a good, like, discover game, immediately sink several hundred hours into the game, because there's something to it. Just, they've released a lot of expansions that I don't want to say are necessary, but they certainly feel that way. It certainly feels like the game is balanced in a way that, like, if you don't have all the expansions, you're missing out on a lot of cool shit. Whereas RimWorld expansions, like, yeah, it's new shit. Yeah, it's decent. But it's not necessary to enjoy the game that is RimWorld. There's enough variety in the base game that you don't really need any of RimWorld's DLCs to have a good time. And if you do ever want to install one of RimWorld's DLCs, it's like playing an entirely different game. That was stupid of me. But yeah, Stellaris was way too complicated. Luckily, it was like exactly what I wanted out of a video game. This was at the end of me being obsessed with just sci-fi storytelling. I was so into it. How close were we? 2 eggs? Wow. Well, here we go. Let me pull it up. I'm like, no, I need to use the mouse. Do not lick my hand as I'm using the mouse. Alright, get ready to get flashbanged by OBS. Are you ready? Here goes. Ugh. Look at that. Hold on, it's crusty. Let me fix that. That's colored pencil! Can you believe it? It's gorgeous! Look at all the different greens! How'd he do that? It's amazing! Alright, no more of that. Yeah, check out his stuff. Krug Smash with a K and 2 Gs. Very, very good content. Everything is content. So, to kind of bookend what I was talking about, sci-fi obsession. I was playing Halo again, and the concept of the Flood was like so interesting to me. Somehow, as a kid I never really got like too intrigued by it, but suddenly I was like, wait, it's a giant hive mind that infects posts? Okay, this is really interesting. And so I started seeking out other, like, sci-fi horror-esque things, like, Dead Space. I got really into Dead Space's lore, I got really into a lot of different sci-fi properties lore. And at a certain point, I'd, like, tap them all out. Mass Effect, another good one. And of course, then there's, like, the TV shows that do a really good job with it, like Star Trek. But at a certain point, I'd kind of consumed all the stuff. I'd seen all the cool sci-fi horror media that I could find. And I was like, oh god, what do I do? And I randomly heard of Stellaris, and I watched someone playing the game on Twitch. And they were experiencing new content. Not in terms of the game, but in terms of, like, sci-fi storytelling. That game is just like, you control the sci-fi horror experience. Not fully, but you do what you can within your power to avert disaster. Well, that was unfortunate what just happened. It's a really cool game if you have the will to learn it. But it's somehow more complicated than Dwarf Fortress and RimWorld. So it's not a fun process learning it. Granted, like, it is more fun towards the beginning than the end. Because everything's still fresh. At a certain point, it starts to seem like you've experienced everything the game has to offer. And it's just all repeats. This is not going so well. I don't think I could have done anything. I mean, I could have made a different route, but I don't think I could have done anything to win that round. Luckily, we're at EVP 300, just for starting. Thank you, ranking holdover. I should look into that, because last time I checked, it was recently after they added the whole ranking holdover thing. And every single time I look it up, I can't seem to find information on it. Because, I mean, Google is broken, as we all know. So if you Google it, you'll just find someone from the launch of Splatoon 3 saying, like, man, I wish there was a ranking holdover, like a checkpoint in EVP somewhere, so it wasn't so difficult to reach EVP 999 on all the maps. Well, now you know. They did it. They listened. And no one wrote down the specifics. And you'd think it'd be more intuitive, but the unfortunate reality is... It's not. Long pause. The unfortunate reality is, as someone who's reached 999 on 2 maps, 600 on 1 map, 400 on 2 maps, and then none of it on another map, or maybe like it was 200 on another? I don't know. Bottom line is, it doesn't seem like the same numbers lead to the same results. It almost seems kind of random. One thing I can say for certain, you get to EVP 999, next time you start that map, you will be at 400, and I don't think any amount of failure can actually rank you down from that. Oh. Man, it's a good thing I'm not a sniper. Because I am, like, not too hip with it. You like that little rocket jump we did? Good damage, sir. Sorry, calling it a rocket jump just, like, released the stupid chemical into my brain. Uh-oh. Well, this is bad. It seems the team doesn't know where they should be right now. I feel like I'm, like, handling one area by myself. I actually can't believe that worked out. Let's go, leader. This is definitely one of those rotations where everyone needs to be on, or we just lose. All the weapons need to be doing their job. I think, if I had to come up with a tactic, it would be to just stay here, on this island. The whole team. Because if the whole team is together, as long as we're not too close to the point where we're getting missiled, we should do a decent job of keeping each other alive. But then, every once in a while, it'll spawn missile men on the other side way over there. So, it's not foolproof. But I think it's the best bet we have, because every time anyone, like, separates, myself included, from this little elevated area, death immediately comes. It ain't good. So who knows, maybe Dwarf Fortress tomorrow, to get back into that. But I'd have to set it up, so I kind of doubt it. If I had to make a real guess, I want to say Wobble Dogs. Because, god damn it, I love me some Wobble Dogs. And it's so, like, relaxing, that I should be able to stay up as long as I need to fix my sleep schedule. Which is one of the reasons that we're staying up so late, obviously. It's the insomnia struggle. You get really bad chronic insomnia, well, you better be prepared to just stay up through a night every once in a while. Otherwise, you will be offset from the rest of society for an eternity. Forever. Wait, why am I not shooting him? There we go. I see missiles. Oh no! Where is the missile man? I think someone got him already. This team seems kind of on it. They seem to know what they're doing. He almost punched me right into the mackerel ring. That would have been so sad. So, Pikmin 2 will be back. Do not worry. I had someone tell me, like, hey man, that game gets insanely hard. Like, insanely hard. I've been told it's kind of obscene. I've also been told that one of the caves at the very end is a boss rush of every single boss in the game. But I've also been given good advice, like, Bulbmin only appear if you have, less than 100 Pikmin. So going into some caves with 90 Pikmin is probably going to be the play some of the time. Alright, I gotta be on the front line. This is my home now. I'll protect you, leader. Someone has to. You know, one thing I noticed is that we haven't been ending the stream on a clip too often. I mean, the need hasn't... The situation hasn't really been calling for it. So, like, I haven't felt too driven to do it. But when it comes to Splatoon, I do still have a myriad of clips. Myriad clips. Okay, I need to mention myriad as a word, because it drives me kind of insane. You can say a myriad of something. You can also say myriad something without, like, a myriad of. Like, I have myriad options. That's proper English. I have a myriad of options is also proper English. Maybe. I think one of those two is more situational than the other. We've got to get it. Oh, I should have used my special earlier. Wait, we got it! Who did it? I'm so proud of you guys. Carried by the better players. Facts. The new camo banner. I'm not sure if I like it better than the old one, the purple and green one. I'm not sure. But I'm trying it anyways. Because it's closer to the koi slop suit color. And that's what we run. We never stop. Koi slop suit. I should probably have stuck with them. But they weren't funny enough. Mandatory. Luckily, because the rotation's been active for so long, or rather, I guess unluckily, we're gonna be getting all sorts of players. Even though our EVP is, like, higher. So we're only gonna be getting people who have made it this high. We're not gonna be getting holdovers. When we switch maps to the next rotation, instant EVP 400. Which means all the players are gonna be good. Allegedly. Allegedly! I've been playing a lot more of this game lately. I've been getting back into the multiplayer. Not just the Salmon run. But the verses. And... holy shit. There are so many, like, clueless players. I know, that's like... You're one to talk. Obviously, it's like... really easy to shift the blame of a loss onto other people. But what I've been trying to grind out in versus modes is positioning. Uh-oh. This is a bad spot. Let's go over here. Positioning. I think in this game, more than most others, positioning is like the most important thing. He gave his life. I will get you, sniper. This is bad. We have a method. We're fine. This is gonna be a little tough. Our actual win condition here is the Brella, and I don't think the Brella is using his weapon. Like, at all. I think he's just shooting it. If the Brella just stands here and holds the trigger, we win. Luckily, that goes into the same topic from earlier. Positioning. Even in Salmon Run, picking the wrong positions is like a death sentence. And I like to extend the benefit of the doubt to my teammates. I like to assume that people will know what the right position to win in is. Because the people that still play this game have been playing it for a very long time. There are very few new players now. Uh-oh. We don't get a lot of new players in Splatoon 3 these days, because the update cycle has ended. The game is, like, slowly dying. Unfortunately. Don't get into that topic. The, Splatoon is dying, Splatoon isn't dying, Splatoon is dying, Splatoon isn't dying. That cool back and forth? Let's not get into that. But the player count is definitely lower, which means the people that are playing the game are returners who should know how to play the game by now. Who should definitely know how to play the game by now. And so, while I'm trying to, like, improve my familiarity with positions to take and when to take them, reacting to, like, the way the game progresses with a better positioning to keep myself alive for longer and to be in a good spot to do my job. Typically as a backline, sometimes as a support, sometimes as other things. I like a lot of weapons in this game. I find myself assuming that my teammates will also be in a good position. And then I get flanked because it turns out I'm the only one in position right now. And my entire team is just like relaxing, not even playing the game, hanging out in spawn, filling in the cracks after 2 minutes have passed in Turf War. So, that's great. I could just start playing the ranked modes, but I'm saving it. Saving it. Soon. Soon, the Splatoon Salmon Run streams will not be the only Splatoon streams on this channel. Soon we will be streaming ranked from the bottom up, because I think that'd be a very fun experience. And because I've never done it before. Oh, that was horrible. I've, like, touched the rank mode once or time. Once or time? Whoa. Once or twice, I've dipped my toe in it. Just to see what it's like, and the game is much better. Obviously, it's much better. When you have an actual objective that isn't so freeform that it keeps the entire team separate from each other, it's a very interesting game. And obviously the people that are playing that mode are gonna have more of a mind towards winning the games than they are towards your average Turf War game. But I use Turf War to practice my technique and tech skill and various other things, like general game knowledge. General matchup knowledge, I should say. And I cannot count the number of times that I've assumed my team was taking a good position only for them not to do it. And that's not even to mention how many... Oh no! How many unfortunate team comps exist. I didn't think he was close enough to me. It's fine. Fine. This game is riddled with horrible matchmaking. And I've heard that in ranked modes at least, especially in X-Ranked, the game is pretty careful about matching up, like, say you have a sniper on your team. Well, the enemy team is going to have a weapon with a similar range value, so you don't spend the entire game struggling to even reach the enemy unless your backline is just really bad at the game. Which is at least a little more acceptable. In Turf War, I've played several games now with just 3 snipers either on my team or on the enemy team. Oh god. And the other team, it's just widely imbalanced. Either the team has no ranged options, so they just lose the snipers, or the team is all front lines and bombs and just rushes down the snipers before they can get a single shot in. It's been a little frustrating. I can't lie. It seems like that system of mirroring range values doesn't quite exist for Turf War. So, I mean, here I am complaining about a mode that warrants the most complaints out of any mode in the game. It's probably the least balanced. From what I hear, the entire game over. But I still like it. That's the thing, I still like playing Turf War. So I still do it more often than not. I should be playing ranked though, I gotta get into that. Because I really do like having an objective that isn't just, you know, completely decentralized. Paint the ground anywhere on the map you choose. Oh, it's getting bad. Oh god. I have to go up here. I could have sworn I saw a missile man at some point. Guess not. I don't think we're gonna win this, but I'm still gonna try, obviously, because I like this game. It makes me feel good. But I've played more Turf War than I probably should have. I definitely should have moved on to the ranked modes by now. It would be saving myself a bit of a headache, but I don't know if I've discussed this before, but I have a natural aversion to ranking in video games. Just a natural aversion to it. No good reason. Just doesn't sit right with me having a number ascribed to everything I do. When I play a game, oh no. It's typically to relax, you know? And Turf War is real relaxing. Because nobody really cares if they win or lose. Double-edged sword, I know. But, like, you lose in Turf War, you can get over it. It's fine. You don't suffer for that loss. You lose in ranked, who knows how many points you're gonna lose. It's just gonna be something I have to get used to. Because, like, I mean, I come from TF2. That was my team-based shooter before this. And in TF2, you could enter and leave a game with no penalties. Foreign, crazy concept, I know. Oh god, sorry about that. But the game is built around it. It's like 9v9, 11v11. Teams of that many people. So, one person coming and going within 30 seconds because they don't like the ping in the lobby is all well and good. It's not going to impact anyone too badly. Until your team is like 3 players down. Not like they've gone down, but like they left the game and the auto balance is having a tough time keeping up. But in TF2, you can just join and leave whenever you want. And I'm used to that. I'm used to the very casual pub experience. Public game. So much so that I often find myself calling random matches of Splatoon pubs. Is it just me, or is it, like, kind of frozen? Nope, yeah, that's what I thought. We got time for battled. No, it's battle time. Battle time! And then it just sits on battle time for a full minute. That is the battle time. TF2 has a ranked mode and a competitive scene, but they don't agree with each other whatsoever. Like, the competitive mode in TF2 is kinda hot garbage. Always has been, always will be. But the TF2 comp scene has been thriving for a very long time. And because I'm such a casual-minded player when it comes to shooter games, I haven't really dipped my toe into it. I don't want to feel bad about losing. No. No, it's really because I don't want to have to practice another game. Video games are all well and good until you start taking them so seriously that you need to practice to be good at them. It makes for a different experience. It can be a fun experience, don't get me wrong, and I think Splatoon competitive ranked bridges the gap a lot closer than TF2 does. Like TF2, I mentioned that casual lobbies are like 11 players, 12 players, maybe even 16 in the weird servers. Maybe even 32 per team. Which is a server I've been playing on lately. I'm playing TF2 again. But playing TF2 got me wanting to play Splatoon again, because they're so similar. Which is why I don't tend to stop with the comparisons. They're really similar games. Just with slightly different philosophies on certain things, like sniping, for instance. In TF2, the sniper can just instantly, like, point and click on your head and you're done. In this game, they kind of address that problem by giving you a charge time, so that the sniper can't just, like, 180 headshot your entire team within the span of 5 seconds. Which can happen in TF2. And the thing is, like, the competitive version of Splatoon isn't too different. Oh no, the rain. Isn't too different from the casual version of the game. We gotta get over there. Oh, we didn't have to. Fine. I'm really glad they put those eggs in the basket. I didn't want to lose on wave 1 yet again. But competitive TF2, if you don't know, in TF2 we have our 9 classes. Scout, Soldier, Pyro, Demo, NG, Heavy, Sniper, Spy, Medic. But in competitive, the 2 common game modes are 6s, which is the most common, and 6s is like 2 soldiers, 2 scouts, a medic, and a demo, and that's it. None of the other classes really see any use. Which is very, very different, obviously. And the other popular competitive mode is called Highlander, considering the movie Highlander, where the quote is, "There can be only one." And there's only one of each class in Highlander. Which, I mean, it's good that all the classes are getting represented, but it's still very different from casual, because in casual, your entire team can be the scout. Your entire team can go heavy. You can, like, restart the Russian Revolution in TF2. You can do it. Have fun. All the power to you. But can't do that in any of the competitive modes. I mean, you could try running 6s with a full team of 6 heavies. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna get even close. But this game's casual and comp scene are a lot more hand in hand, and when you practice to get better in casual, you tend to get better at comp as well, as long as you're, like, playing the game with a mind to improve. Which I get that not everyone is. But for some reason there's a little bug in my brain that he made his home there when I got really into Melee and sunk like 10,000 hours into it all those years ago. But when I play a game with any sort of competitive scene, I tend to get really invested in my own, like, ability in the game, and trying to get better. Improvement! Because it's a really fun process, seeing how far you've come. Like, seeing the things you can now accomplish because of all that time you spent. And in Melee, you can feel it every second in your gameplay. Through your movement, through your combos, you feel all that practice you did. And Splatoon ain't that different. TF2 ain't that different either. It's just really, really, really clear in Melee. Because every single second you're doing something that demands crazy tech skill. So since then, I've ended up approaching most games with a comp scene in terms of trying to become better at the game myself. Even games without a comp scene I tend to do that with. It's a fun process. It really is. It's one of the reasons that I play most games on the hardest difficulty if I can, like, stand to. Which has led to its own share of headaches, as we discussed last stream with Metal Gear Solid. Like, I beat MGS3 on European Extreme, the highest difficulty where if you're even caught, the game ends. It's over. But then, because I, like, was able to do that without too much difficulty, I played Metal Gear Solid 1 for the first time on hard, and was having such a bad time. Thing is, a lot of games you have to be at least somewhat familiar with the game to play in its harder difficulties. But there have been a lot of games over the years that have a competitive scene that I wouldn't have expected myself to get into, that I ended up, like, obsessing over. Pokemon. Oh my god. Pokemon's comp scene is so fun. I've heard in recent years, it's been a while since I've played BGC, but I've heard in recent years some things have been a little different. Like, ever since Urshifu was released to the masses, things have been a little rough, or so I've heard. But if you've played... what's the word? If you played any amount of Smogon rule set. The whole, like, Ubers, OU, UU, overused, underused, rarely used, never used. Baby cup. If you've played any of those modes, that's singles, and that's well and good. But at a certain point, you realize that every singles game plays out the exact same way. Especially, like, when it's better singles players. Oh, would you look at that? The game just started. Here's turn 1. Both teams used Stealth Rock. Here's turn 2. Both teams used Bites. Turn 3. Someone switched Pokemon. And is now setting up with Swords Dance. Every single game plays out the exact same way. It really does. And it drives me insane. And then I discovered VGC, which if you've never heard of VGC before, it's like if Pokemon had an actual, like, interesting, competitive format, which is why it's what's used at the World Championships. They don't have a singles World Championships mode. It's all doubles. And there are so many options before you even start the game. In, like, singles, those options start and end with, like, which Pokemon you are bringing and in what order. I.e. Oh god. I.e., who is your lead? That's it. That's your entire, like, thought process going into a round of singles. Granted, like, EVs and IVs are a thing, and you can get some niche strategies, obviously, but that applies to every Pokemon game mode. In VGC, you start, you see your team of 6, and you see your enemy's team of 6. And before the game even begins, you are tasked with 2 things. You can only bring 4 Pokemon. Who do you think you're going to bring? And who do you think your opponent is going to bring? And the other thing, who are you going to lead, and who do you think your opponent is going to lead? Because some matches are won and lost before the first turn has even been done. If you guess so well. And by guess, I mean it's all kind of brain puzzle thing. You have to kind of put yourself in the shoes of your opponent and what monsters you think they're going to bring. Monster. But it's really, really cool. If you've never looked into VGC before, I can't recommend it enough. Because there are so many things that Pokemon does in a doubles format that just don't happen in singles whatsoever. Protect, the best move in the game. Helping Hand, actually a move this time. It's really fun. And you don't have to be all that good at it to enjoy it. You don't even have to spend a lot of time, like, grinding at a team. You can just, like, use someone else's team with a code, or you can go onto the best website for Pokemon, PokemonShowdown.com. You can build a team from there, and you can straight up dive into battles with that little simulated team without having to do any other work. It's a fun competitive format, I really enjoyed it. Granted, it's been a couple of years since... Here's the deal. I don't recommend running multiple competitive games at once. I just don't recommend it. I played a good few games competitively, but if you want to play multiple competitive games at the same time, you better be prioritizing one. Because if you're doing both, you're splitting your attention, and you're probably going to struggle in both scenes at once. Granted, there are some, like, superhuman monsters, who can do that without really struggling whatsoever, which, good for them. I'm happy for them. But inevitably the cracks begin to show when those... Oh god, I misclicked! When those scenes become too far apart. Like, before we get too off the topic of competitive Pokemon, the entirety of being good at VGC is knowing the information. Obviously, like, the entry level is, do you know the base stats of the freaks and the geeks? But if you want to win, oh god, you have to know what's good in the meta right now, what people are using, and you have to have your own ideas of how to counter it. You have to know these things. It's an information game, VGC. And if you're not playing the information game, you're gonna lose. And how do you play the information gang? Gang? Welcome to the information gang. What? What? What do you want? What do you want? What is it? I'm not gonna play your game. I'm trying to play Splatoon. The information game in Pokemon. Just to completely bookend it. Watch other people play the game. That's it. That's the whole thing. There are 3 stingers that just spawn at the same time! Please stop this swaying. We have to go get the stingers. Someone did it. Thank God. We gotta go back over there. Oh my God! My life flashed before my eyes. That didn't work. Let's try again. Sorta. I'm gonna give my life for this. Oh no! Bad play. So if you want to be good at competitive Pokemon, just watch a bunch of people playing it. That's it. That's the whole deal. Nice, thank you, friend. We've been thoroughly overrun, and I'm gonna blame the guy that was saying this way instead of playing the game. Then again, I'm no better. I was watching him. That's on me. Yeah, I don't see it happening. I don't see this team clutching up. 10 seconds, 26 eggs, I don't see it happening. There's the stinger I left alive. It was now too small to hit. Maybe it's time I focused more on the game instead of talking about different competitive scenes. The natural progression. I think I would like to play competitive Splatoon. I think I might enjoy it. That's where this was going. It was you! It was the This Way Spammer. The AFK play. It's fine. It's fun to practice Splatoon. It's just a fun game to play. And luckily, like, despite my arthritic ass that is wholly unable to even hold a GameCube controller for 30 minutes, somehow the controls don't hurt me too bad. So I could see myself getting pretty into comp Splatoon. Hell, I can play this game for like 8 hours straight, without issue. Which is crazy. That doesn't work for most games. Whatsoever. Hell, the only games that have done that for me have been, what is it? PC games. Keyboard and mouse. That was the only control setup I thought was, like, functional. For arthritis. Sorry. But I'm surprised at how much gyro aiming is, like, really good for my hands. So much so that, like, the Switch 2 is gonna come out, and like a ravenous consumer, I might just get it. I might just not. That's another possibility. I mean, I could just stream PC games and retro games for the rest of my life. But if they release a Splatoon 4, that would make me very sad. Because then I would feel like I have to spend... What would it be? Like, $580? To get the bundle and then to get the Splatoon? Because, like, obviously, Nintendo, no matter how much the game should be priced at, they're gonna start making 80 their go-to. Especially with how the funny US tariffs are. How we're all stuck here. I really, really hope Congress passes that thing that's like, yeah, if the president puts like a weird tax thing on the table and none of us like it, it expires in 30 days, because that is like, fuck that guy. I like that as an idea. I really hope that passes, because like, I don't want all my money to evaporate into thin air. I don't think anyone does. And I see that as a very real possibility. You know, is this my first time getting dualies today? I don't think so. I think we've gotten it one more time, but we haven't gotten it a lot. I think we only got Brello once as well. Which we've only been, like, losing before Wave 3 way more often than not, so... It's fine. It's cool. But something I want to ask. This is a question that I am, like... It doesn't keep me up at night, that's for sure, but... It has me curious. When we get the Switch 2, there will inevitably be people playing Splatoon with the mouse controls, and I use the term mouse loosely. It'd be nice to be able to use an actual mouse on a Switch 2. Hopefully the Switch 2 quote-unquote mouse feature is actually pretty good. Hopefully. But I'm not gonna hold my breath. I've heard it feels seamless, but the thing is... It's not about how good it is at tracking, to me. Which, I mean, that is important. To me, what's important with the mouse is how does it feel in your hands? Does it feel like you're holding something that's too small? Because if it does... Oh, it's over. Oh, it's so over. I swear to God, if someone says help... Oh, that was unfortunate. I don't even know what happened. I guess a little bit of ink fell on the ground, and it ruined my jump. You saw the thought process. You saw the execution. You know! Anyways, when the mouse does come out, inevitably people will be using it. I don't think I will, just because of how comfortable I am with, gyro aiming. And to be entirely honest, I don't like the prospect of mouse only and no keyboard. Like, if I'm using a mouse, I want to be able to use a keyboard, too. Otherwise, I'll have to use a joystick, and the joysticks are typically the thing that hurt the most when it comes to arthritis. So... no. I'll be using gyro aiming. Almost with 100% certainty. But, when the mouse does come out, what will you bind your controls to? Because I think you only have the 2 buttons. The thing is, there's a lot more bound to the, what's it called? The right side of your controller than the left side. Like, for instance, trigger pull, yes. Bomb, yes. Jump, yes. Recenter the camera, yes. X button does nothing. It's a menu button. A, throw egg. Like, I guess that counts. And then, lastly, right stick. For special. That's a lot of different buttons. And it looks to me like the mouse only has 2. So are we just gonna be binding way more controls to the left half of the controller? Or are we somehow gonna have to, like, crane our thumbs around on the Switch 2 mouse and push the A button, one of the face buttons on the controller, which I would not want to do. The last thing I want with the comfort of a mouse is like a really, really uncomfortable extra button on the side of it that hurts me to push, because I love Mouse 4 and Mouse 5. They're great. They're perfect. I have so many mice where I use Mouse 4 and 5 regularly. And I don't think having the Switch 2, the Joy-Con 2, second Joy-Con, I don't think having the face buttons are gonna compensate from that well enough. I don't think it's gonna feel good. That guy is so dead. So yeah, I have my concerns. I've heard that the mouse part itself, the tracking, is like fine and dandy, real solid. But I'm definitely worried... Wow, we made it. I'm definitely worried about the other buttons, and how they're gonna be bound. I would really have preferred if there was just a way to, like, plug in my mouse. You know? It'd be real nice if I could just use my keyboard and mouse on the Switch, instead of having to use the funky, janky Joy-Con 2. I guess, you know the saying. Beggars bazookas. Can't be beggars but choosers. And goddammit, I love me the beggar's bazooka. That's gonna sound like complete nonsense to anyone who hasn't played TF2. It's a gun. It's a weapon in TF2, and I like it. It's my favorite. It's a rocket launcher that definitely would work in real life. Definitely. You load 3 rockets into it at once and they come out one after the other, which would definitely not just detonate the entire payload at once. It's cool. I like it. It feels good. It lets you do funny jumps. But we're getting back into TF2 discussion, which... who cares? I've talked enough about TF2 on this stream. How about we do that other thing? How about we talk about Randy from Gearbox, huh? How about we bring Randy from Gearbox up again? No, it's fine. I do want to get in the comp Splatoon. But there's a bit of a road between me and that. And it's this. The highest rank I've ever achieved in Splatoon 3's ranked modes, which, keep in mind, I've never played the ranked mode in any other Splatoon game, because I kind of didn't enjoy the game at the Turf War. So I don't know why I would pursue more of the game if I didn't enjoy it there. Anyways. The road is, I'm at C-. I am at a C- rank. And I have to get to X rank before I can even start doing the actual comp stuff. Oh, as far as Discord goes, I don't really use Discord. I hope that won't, like, come across as me trying to be an asshole or anything. But I'm like, I try to keep away from any social platform that I can stand to. Oh, we're alive. Nope. It's not. I try to only stick to, like, the few that I'm already glued to. And that's Blue Sky and Blue Sky only. Oh, God. Wow, fog is really, really bad for this comp on this map, isn't it? That was just unlucky. Let's just lose. End it. End it all. Thank you. But yeah, I don't know that I will ever use Discord for anything outside of, like, being able to chat with my friends in real time with our audio. So maybe one day, who knows, maybe one day we'll do a Discord thing with the stream, but I doubt it. I try to keep it as bare bones as possible, as reasonably excusable, and I hope you'll forgive me for that. God, I'm actually dying at the moment. It's too hot. The Florida heat. It's... You wanna know? You wanna know how hot it is right now? 90. Very cool. Glad I checked. Nothing unusual here. Oh man, I gotta be real quiet for a second here. So, I mentioned, Easter is here. People are visiting my house. I don't like it. Kick them out. One person is kind of just refusing to leave. Easter is over. It's over. and they're staying one paper-thin wall away from me. I'm frightened. I'm under threat. But yeah, this is not the first time I've been asked about Discord on this stream. I don't expect it to be the last. But I do hope people are cool with the response of, you know, I'm trying not to do it. I'm trying to avoid Discord and keeping it for, like, private stuff. Which I feel like is a very reasonable thing. You know? Like, I feel like that's okay. So I hope people are okay with that. Like I was saying, comp Splatoon, I've got to go through C-, into C, into C+, into B, through A, through S, into X, and then I have to familiarize myself with X, rank, not the social media platform, not the artist formerly known as Prince. Oh god, it's getting a little strenuous. It's fine. I'd have to get into X rank, and I'd have to get decent at X rank before I could even feel comfortable asking people to try running me on a team. You know? It's gonna be a journey before we can get there. That I can say. Which, on one hand, you know, that's gonna take a lot of time. That's unfortunate that I'm not gonna be able to do, like, much comp Splatoon stuff for a long while. But, on the other hand, could be a good thing. Because if I've got the stream set up now, I could stream pretty much the entire journey from C- to X to actual competition to hopefully one day winning a tournament with a team. That would be a really fucking cool arc. To record, to show, to show, yes! To have on one of my channels. I think that'd be really neat. So, I do intend more or less to do that, and that's kind of one of the reasons that I've been avoiding doing more ranked, because I want to get into ranked when I start recording ranked. But there's one more thing about that that's really, really unfortunate. See, I play a lot of weapons. Like, a lot of weapons. Some of which better than others. Some of which I'm better at than others, rather. And others of which are better than others in terms of game balance. In case you don't know, Explo, my dearly beloved. I like to use Explo as much as possible. And I'm not too bad, A, at Explo, and B, at backlining in general. But here's what I'm getting at. Explo in solo queue? Holy shit. I don't recommend it to anybody. If I'm having a bad time in Turf War as a solo Explo, because I'm expecting my team to be A, having at least one person playing frontline, B, in a position where they can see if someone has, like, committed to rushing me down, and maybe even help a little bit? No. You have to be in it for yourself. Oh shit! For Explo in solo queue. You have to be prepared to fully protect yourself throughout the experience. And that can be a challenge. It can be a real challenge. God, I love that we got a freebie wave. I hope we get another freebie wave. I like these. Mudmouths are so free. It's great. So because Explo is my favorite weapon, I like to queue with it more often than not. And when I do that, I get sad because the team just kind of leaves me to die. And that's Explo's vulnerability. It is comically vulnerable to getting bum rushed when you don't have splashdown ready. Which has resulted in some clips that I would be glad to show you. of me just flipping the script on an overconfident Octobrush or something. Someone who's playing the game correctly and chasing the Explo only to get, like, trick shot. I have many a clip of that. I have a really, really good clip of, like, a double parry that if I could just find it right now, I would show it right now. I would do it. But it's deep in the thick of things. Luckily, I don't just play Explo. I play a lot of weapons, because I love so many of the weapons in this game. That was beautiful. That was a beautiful line. This is getting a little hairy. Well, he did it. Oh, times are a-changing right now. Times are a-changing. The snake's still here. He's still here. Oh my god. It's fine. All's well. I feel like the entire world is holding W into me right now, and I'm scared. I would like for it to end. That's better. So, I don't just play Explo. I play a lot of weapons in this game. If you must know, which, like, who asked? It's fine. I play every single Splatling. All of them. Even the poopy ones. Yes, that one. Yes, Ballpoint Nouveau. Yes. I play them all. Because I think they all bring something fun to the table. Even if that thing is more of a gimmick, like, you should see my Ballpoint Nouveau fit. This will tell you exactly what you need to know. I have a kit. A fit kit. For every single kit. A fit for the kit. There we go. We figured it out. I have a fit for each kit. And my Ballpoint Nouveau kit, that kit is horrible. I'm just gonna be honest with you, it's not a good kit. The Ballpoint Nouveau. Ink Mine and Vacuum. But this is great. I have so much fun with this. 2 mains of sub power-up with 3 ticks. Big mine. Very, very big ink mine. If you've never discovered the beauty of Big Mine, I can't recommend it enough. Just pick your favorite ink mine having weapon. Maximize sub power up. And your mine becomes the massive mine. And boy is it useful. Okay, it is useful, yes. But it's funny, more than that. That's what's important. The big mine is very, very fun. It makes me laugh. I have very many clips of, like, just putting 2 massive mines in the same general place and getting, like, a triple kill off of them. It's beautiful. It really is. So I will play every mine weapon in the game that I can stomach. And there are 2 mine Splatlings. Unfortunately, they're both horrible. Custom Hydra and Ballpoint Nouveau, as you might expect. They're not good kits, so... not balanced very well. Doesn't make them unfun, though. Even vanilla Dowsers, I end up having a lot of fun, because Dowsers is like... Dowsers is if a dually was a Splatling. And that's the best way I can describe that. Oh, thank you, Dually Dodge. That was beautiful. I'm glad we made it. So, I play all the Splatling. I play a little bit of Dowsers. Explo is still my favorite, but I play other AoE weapons too, like Machine, Pro Deco, and you might think that's spreading me a little thin. Like, if you're not just sticking to 1 or 2 weapons, how are you supposed to get really, really good at those 2 weapons? But you gotta believe me. That is like after cutting so many weapons that I love. I had to cut swords entirely. Swords are so much fun. They're so much fun. But it's a dedicated weapon. If you're not, like, constantly playing the sword, you're not gonna get very good with it. The same applies to Bucket, which was once my favorite. I will never not be playing Explo. Like, for a crazy long amount of time. Thriller. Uh-oh. Alright, I think I found my role. I have to get rid of the small ones. Oh no! Well, I didn't do a good enough job. They're both on me now. I'm gonna take them on a wild goose chase so my wiper can respawn everybody. Well, that worked out to varying degrees of success. But yeah, those are my weapons. And, oh, Wellspring as well. And I'll tell you why. Oh, God. I'll tell you why Wellstring, Explo, and Prodeco are weapons that I feel so comfortable playing all of them. You can do it. Guess not. You couldn't do it. We gotta put these eggs in ASAP. We can win. We can totally win this. Oh! Alright, we got it. I was forced to lock in. So, Explo, Wellstring, and Prodeco. They are all different takes on what is essentially the same weapon. They're all backline, more or less. But they don't play as far back as something like the leader does. In fact, most of their game plan is throwing out a big AoE hitbox and pushing it closer and closer to the enemy. But they're all very different takes on that concept. Like, Prodeco has its ink turned all the way down, and has its pace turned all the way up. Explo's a little slower, with a little bit more specific of a projectile. But the turf is insane. And then Wellstring is kind of somewhere in the middle, but it also kind of does its own thing with the whole delayed explosion. But they all kind of do the similar thing. To where, like... Uh-oh. To where I often refer to them as different flavors of the same concept. Because that's how they feel. Oh no. Please don't. Oh no! We can do this. Beautiful. I'm out of here. Do you like how I'm embodying the toxic trait of, not using my special until the game is over? No one liked that. You know, there's an odd quality that these streams, specifically, have to them. I get a little soapboxy. Just a little. Because, I mean, here's the thing about streaming Splatoon. Splatoon's community is very insular. what I mean by that is, like, if you're in the Splatoon community, if you play Splatoon, you already like Splatoon, and you're into watching people play Splatoon, you're into playing Splatoon, you're into all the Splatoon things. If you are not into Splatoon, the odds of you clicking on a Splatoon video are next to nothing. The interest is, like, just not there for someone who's not into the game. Which, on one hand, like, I like to stream games that I'd love to show people, and I would love for more people to see Splatoon and be like, wait a minute, this is really cool. I like this a lot. I want to play this. I would love to show more people Splatoon, which is one of the reasons that I stream it so often. But the reality is that's just not how it works. The number of people that will check out a Splatoon stream that are not already intricately familiar with Splatoon is very low. Luckily for me, I found a streamer who I liked in other things, and I just wanted to watch more of their VODs, and it turned out most of their VODs were Splatoon, and I was like, you know what the hell is this? And immediately it clicked that this was just a different flavor of TF2. Right when I was getting, like... what's the word? Overly comfortable with all the TF2 weapons. Like, I'd already gone on a little journey with every weapon in TF2 that I could stand to. Hey, that was not cool. And when I saw Splatoon, when I saw that fateful Splatoon stream, I was like, wait a minute, this is just exactly what I wanted. It's TF2, sort of, with a bunch of new weapons and new mechanics. I got the game, and I was in love. It was exactly what I wanted. And there's a couple reasons for that. Because I owned Splatoon 1 and 2. This is not the first time I've mentioned this, but I did not like Splatoon 1, and I did not like Splatoon 2. One bit. I only played 12 hours of S1. Straight up. That's it. Because— oh, loading orb. Because I wasn't having a lot of fun. And I can tell you why that was. Wii U gamepad heavy. That's not it. The weapon balance. Obviously, it wasn't, like, easy for me to adjust to gyro controls for the first time. I wasn't too interested in doing that. Which, if you don't do gyro controls in Splatoon, you're gonna have a worse time than everybody else who can, like, 180 flick like that. You're just gonna struggle a little bit. Sticks players, God bless. And it can be a rewarding process to learn. For Splatoon 1, I did not learn it. And this was made way more difficult by the balance of the game. You don't get access to a lot of the better weapons in S1 until you're, like, a good few levels ahead. So I was stuck with some of the weaker options. A lot of the ones that didn't— oh no! A lot of the ones that didn't gel with my desired playstyle. And what's worse about that is I mentioned weapon balance. Looking back on it now that I know what I know, I can't believe that didn't get me. Thank you. I'm Booyah Mommy. Holy shit, you have no idea how hard I was just mashing. The frame rate! The frame rate! This is the game. This is the game running as intended, by the way. That is not like OBS frame drop, that is not Twitch frame drop, that is Splatoon 3 frame drop. Gonna get fixed on the Switch 2 frame drop. We made it. It was looking a little hairy there. The poor guy. I feel bad. I feel really bad about that. I do that all the time. If I don't want to be revived, I will just jump off in the life raft. Anyways, in other Splatoon games, the balance between the weapons is usually not too crazy. Like the top of the top versus everybody else, it's not unwinnable. Splatoon 1 Dynamo, Splatoon 1 Charger, these things were not balanced well. And they're not alone either. Splatoon 1 had a lot of weapons with just really bad balance. And when I played Splatoon 2, the game wasn't about fighting anymore with the weapons. Oh god. I missed. I missed again. Oh god! I'm so sorry. Just lazy. I did what I could. Why did he throw a bomb down there? I don't know. Thank you. See, you can tell I'm still in TF2 mode because I say thank you with the bind. Oh. Yeah, this is getting really, really hairy on the frame rate. The frame rate is not happy about this. We can do it. We can do it. Nope. Maybe I shouldn't have committed to shooting those Cohawks. Alright, this rotation's over. It wasn't so bad. It started off a little rough. That I'll admit. But it wasn't so bad. It's time for rotation number 2. So, Splatoon 2 was way more about, like, spamming specials than it was about fighting. So when Splatoon 2 was popular, I mean, I picked up the game because there wasn't a lot on the Switch at the time. And me and my friends tried making it like our thing that we were gonna do. And we got sick of that real quick. Stingray? Great. I'm glad. Missiles without a cooldown? Okay, yeah, sure, cool. Very thanks. I was not a fan. And then when I saw Splatoon 3, oh, that was a chair noise and it almost peaked the microphone. That's crazy. Wow. Do I need to turn a limiter on? That would be really sad. Because that would just be more filters running. And it seems that we're pretty good today without a limiter. I have a compressor that limits itself. But the output afterwards is not limited. So I can peak and get scary. Anyways, Splatoon 3 comes around. And it's all about fighting with the weapons. Perfect. That is exactly what I wanted out of a Splatoon game. I wanted to fight with the weapons. That's it. That's all I ever wanted with a team-based shooter. I wanted to explore new weapons and see if they gelled with me. And then constantly try out ones that I wasn't sure on. And there were hundreds. Okay, maybe not hundreds. There was over 100. Well over 100, in fact. Tempura. Tempura. With the rooftop over it. Can you tell? Can you tell I went to school for music when you call that accent a fucking rooftop accent? Uh-oh. Someone's gotta do it. That someone's gonna be me. Oh! Wait, what? How did that kill me? I don't know how that happened. Did he have like an AoE hitbox when he hit the ground? Because that's hilarious. Anyways, Splatoon 3 was exactly what I wanted out of this kind of game. Jesus, let me breathe. So yeah, I fell in love pretty instantly. And that's exactly why I'm like really worried about a potential Splatoon 4. Because what if they do it wrong? You know, like what if it changes and like the main feature is painting the floor, and it's not fighting, it's spamming specials, or spamming subs. In this game alone, you can see how that wouldn't be particularly fun. Like, there are people who make that their playstyle, and I would rather fight. I don't like it when they just stay out of sight and not fight. Throw bomb. Booyah. Booyah bomb. I don't like that kind of fight. So I'm worried that Splatoon 4 might take it in a different direction. I really hope it doesn't. I just want to fight. That simple. Oh, it was here. So, let's get off of that topic and talk about this new rotation. We're starting at 400, so everyone should be fairly competent. EVP 400, of course. The players are here, and the players are good. But that's not what this is about. Look at our comp. I will tell you my opinions on all of these weapons, because one of these days I hope to have a Salmon Run solo queue weapon tier list. I hope to have that up on the Mumph.inc channel. I hope to get that someday. Because I have most of the script written. It's fucked. It's fucked up how many of these scripts that I've got half done. We'll get back onto that topic in a second, because there's something I want to say about it. But these weapons. Explo is one of the best weapons in the game. In Salmon mode. Granted... Uh-oh. Granted, it still suffers from a couple issues, like ink efficiency getting run down. The normal Explo fare, but with a Salmon Run twist. But it makes up for that by being able to take out a flyfish basket with a single shot. With being able to easily reach and destroy the UFOs, the slam and lid, the lid slam. You can easily hit like a 90 on a UFO. And it's not as immobile as some of the other weapons in the game with low mobility. And, of course, AoE damage and Pierce on the same gun is really cool. I quite like Explo in this mode, even if it comes with a few challenges. But I need to talk about this weapon, because if there's one weapon in this comp that I'm not a big fan of, it's 52 gal. I've seen many a Salmon Run tier list in my time, discussing the weapons in Salmon Run. I've seen many. And people tend to rate this gun very, very highly. But there's a couple different ways you can, like, make a tier list in Salmon Run. Obviously, like the one I'm gonna write, a solo queue tier list. That is not something that I think has been done before on the platform of YouTube, the platform. The game stuttered. I'm gonna blame that. Yeah, fog plus snake, bad time. Dude, it's okay. I know. I need to go squid mode. I'm just gonna be right here for a bit. There are so many eggs here. We can totally do this. Beautiful. Good hustle. Alright, here's the deal. 8 shots to kill a Quahog, as you can see. And with the 52 gal's fire rate, that's not nothing. It's a single target weapon. You can only hit one at a time. Someone left. I wonder if they saved the run by leaving. Because when you leave, it lowers the eggs required. 45. That's not me playing well. That was me getting lucky and having Kraken when there was like 30 eggs at the basket. So, don't give me any credit for that. 52 gal. In every tier list I've seen, ranking these weapons, it is near the top. And I don't agree. That is not no amount of time. What it takes to destroy one of those. It takes a while. An unfortunate while. A while that other weapons simply don't. Toothbrush, wiper, stamper, any of the swords really, do what the 52 gal can do in half the time. And they have an AoE hitbox. So, I'm not the biggest fan of 52 gal, and every single tier list I see it discussed in, specifically Salmon Run, it's like top 2 tiers. And I don't get it. I just don't. I feel like that couldn't be more wrong. But, again, my experience is very colored by solo queue Salmon Run, because that's how I like to play it most of the time. And in solo queue, where you have to rely on yourself to do everything, thin the horde, paint the floor, beat the monsters. The monsters? Beat the big salmon. You have to rely on yourself for all of it. And the 52 gal being a shooter, it's this game's version of a generalist, which is another video I should make. Generalist versus specialist. It's a TF2 term that applies to this game that I think would help people to think about. But because it's a generalist, the shooters can do pretty much everything. They're not as specialized as, like, the Explo is, who can only do very specific things. Did I just take all of the small fry but one from him? I'm having a blast with the Explo. Anyways, generalists are really good in Salmon Run, just because they allow you to, like, move around, protect yourself, paint the floor, make escape routes. They're really good in Salmon Run. So I can see how the 52 gal would be high up, but not top 2 tiers. That is for certain, especially in solo queue. Maybe the tier below that. See, there's so many weapons in Splatoon that the tier lists these days go from F tier to A to S to X. We've added an extra tier. There are just so many of these things. I got too used to the E-leader. Anyways, let's move on from the 52 gal. Squipper. It's really cool. Enough said. No, it's Pierce on a really short cooldown that you can jump and move around while charging. He was in stealth. That was a camo small fry. Crazy. But having really quick access to a Pierce is great. Unfortunately, it only does like 300 damage, so you have to shoot Cohawks twice. And I don't think the tap shot does more than 40. Let's find out. Well, one of these days, we'll find a small fry. And we'll find out. One. No, wait. It does do 50. Good. That's something at least. Yeah, Squiffer isn't bad. This Pierce on such a short cooldown, even if it is only 300 damage, 300's a good number for Salmon Run. Considering, like, the most common total of boss Salmonid health pool is 600, it's a clean 2-shot for you. The Squiffer's not terrible. It does still suffer with being rushed down every once in a while, like most snipers do. But it has it less bad than most of the other ones. That much is worth saying. Bathtub, on the other hand. I don't know how to rank Bathtub. I'll be honest with you. I really don't. Because it's not bad, per se. The projectile is certainly, like, a little jank, and because of that, some shots are harder to hit than they need to be. But the DPS isn't, like, terrible. Like, I'll show it off after this round, what the DPS is like. It could be worse. It could definitely be worse. I don't know. All I can really say that would be a novel thought is that I don't hate it and I don't love it. You know? Like, it's perfectly middle of the road. It struggles with as many things as it's good at. I forgot to use my crab to get the big numbers, baby. I don't know why the word baby came out there. It felt like a natural progression. Big numbers, baby. Let's go. I learned how to do the crab one-shot, finally. It took me way too long to figure that out. But it's not too difficult. Just the timing's a little janky. And I don't know if there's anyone out there who's specifically found the tell. I can put it into, like... I can articulate it right now. The quick turn one-shot with crab. When you're in ball mode, you start holding R to come out of ball mode, right? And right before the crab enters its standing animation. Like, it has a little animation it plays to open up the crab. In the couple of frames right before it is fully standing on the ground and not moving anymore, that is when you want to tap the trigger. Or hold the trigger. Either way works. Anyways, here's the DPS of Bloblobber. See, it's not bad at all. If anything, it's just, a bit of a struggle, considering it's a single target bucket. Potentially the only one in the game. Which doesn't make it the worst bucket at all. Machine is still here. Try is still here. Yeah, this thing definitely out-DPS's the Tri-Slosher in this mode, which is crazy. Genuinely crazy. Fuck. Alright, I'm gonna do my job real quick. Explo paints the walls better than anyone. But yeah, that's the weapons in this rotation. None of them are particularly bad, so this should be pretty easy, especially considering we are where we are. It's gone fishing. It's a good map. It's a nice map. It can be a little bit like of a clusterfuck, considering that there's that tiny enclosed square space in there, and if it's full of enemies, it's a menace. I'll bring this shark a little closer. There was a third shark. There was. Scott's got him. Scott, don't do it. No! I was hoping we could move him closer to the basket. Huh. Something happened earlier on stream where I did my classic thing that I do in Splatoon streams. I mentioned how the community is very insular. So my regulars don't tend to come by when I'm playing Splatoon. So my chat is usually fairly empty when I'm splatting it up with the big boys. Not gonna stop me. I still, like, A, really enjoy playing this game. B, need to do a stream every now and again that's just, like, purely relaxing and talking out my ass. because that is a very nice thing to be able to do on a whim. But because most of my regulars aren't here, I wasn't doing much chatting, I missed a message, and by the time I read it, the guy was gone. It was fucked up. That's one of my toxic streamer traits. What are you doing? Why are you here? My cat is sitting on my mouse, so hopefully I don't need to change scenes or anything on OBS. That'd be bad. I need to find somewhere to be useful. We've talked about a good number of topics today. Is there more to talk about? I don't think so, unfortunately. I think we've hit our limit, which doesn't mean I'm going to stop streaming just yet, because I want to get my fill of this rotation. Because I quite enjoy it, it's a good rotation. I love the X-Flow. I want to use it all the time. One thing I did the other day, because I mentioned earlier that there are so many weapons in this game that I really, really like. Oh no, that didn't work. Alright, we're good. There are so many weapons in this game that I really, really like, but I have to not play all of them because if I spread myself too thin, I'm never going to improve at the weapons that really matter to me, the weapons that I want to push. And I've got some advice that I can give to anyone who's looking to get better with their favorite weapon, or who's looking to, like, get good at the game and wants to push one weapon. Do not try to push a weapon that you don't believe in. I know, like, that's rich coming from me. But if you don't think a weapon, like, genuinely brings something of, like, real value to the table, you should probably not be pushing it. I feel like Explo brings so much to this game. Paint, AoE, damage, it really is an awesome weapon to me that I think could go a long way. And I think you have to have that belief to really want to push a weapon to its limits. You should definitely not just be pushing a weapon just because you like it. I know. And that's a mean thing to say. Sorry, Hydromanes. If your weapon brings something unique to the table, and you believe that that thing is, like, worth fighting for and worth pushing, definitely use it. Who knows, the Hydra might even have something that I'm not thinking of. All I'm trying to say is be careful which weapons you push in a game like this, because you don't want to give yourself a headache just because you like a weapon, you know? That's bad. Granted, that shit's rich coming from me, who is, like, still rank C-. But I mean, I've got 1,600 hours in this game. I know a thing or two about it. At most, a thing or two. But that's not nothing. Alright, just stop talking on my ass. I had to stop myself from playing a lot of weapons that I believe in, that I like playing, that I think are really good. Strictly because I didn't want to spread myself too thin. So the other day I was trying to sort those thoughts into a list form, just to tell me. Sorry, we were attacking that guy as a team. Let me take a drink real quick. Sorry. Just to sort my thoughts into something that I can revisit whenever I'm thinking, like, what weapon do I want to be playing right now? I made a list. And I tiered it. It is my comfort weapon tier list. Ranking my comfort on different weapons and how much I feel good about playing them. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna read the list. Are you ready? It's happening. I need to move my mouse to check it though, so I have to move my cat. Okay? Thank you. I guess we'll check it after this round. What you will notice, I can say now, when I read the list, it's gonna be very, very evident that I'm spreading myself too thin, because there are so many weapons that I want to use and mess around with and play the game with. But keep in mind, this is after much deliberation. This is after I've, like, cut every weapon I could and left it with just the ones I want to play. Just the ones I'm willing to play. Some of them I know I will never be good with, and I just have them on the list because it reminds me that I can play around with them when the mood strikes, when I'm looking for a new weapon. Sword is at the very bottom of the list. Because I like the sword, I like how it plays, I like to use it. I'm never gonna get good with it. But I'm never not gonna play it either. I'm never outright gonna commit to never playing the sword again. Because it's a real shame to, like, see a set of mechanics. Oh god, sorry, that you like a lot. And commit to never using them again just because, like, it's good for your competitive health. That's a sad reality, that. I am so glad that worked out. Take me away. Oh, those expo shots were crazy! I had to let him know. You know what I don't see a lot of in this game? I don't see a lot of sub-strafing around the basket to put eggs in. Instead, I see a lot of squid rolling around the basket. Which is like, it's cool. It's Splatoon 3. Obviously, the game doesn't teach you how to sub-strafe. But it does teach you how to squid roll. So it's not a surprise to see that a lot of people are squid rolling. But this is just so much faster than this. As is, like, very evident. It's almost twice as fast. Ooh, good job. These guys are kinda on. That's unfortunate, what I'm looking at right here. No, get the other one. He stole our kill! I'll protect you. Alright. Back to it. Obviously, there's gonna be a lot of weapons on this list, so prepare yourself to just, like, laugh at me after going on this spiel about what weapons I should and shouldn't play. And this isn't the only list that I've got that's just, like, dumb and for my own purposes. What was the list called? I had another list. Oh, that was unfortunate. I had another list called Mumph's Bag of Really Shitty Tricks. Nemeg didn't like the name of that. You shout. What? Nemeg, It's been 2 minutes! That's bad. That was an interesting crab. Are we still gonna lose? I think so. Yeah, unfortunate. Hey, we tried. It was a good hustle. Alright, are you ready? The bag of really shitty tricks, by the way, is just like me and my best friend when we're playing Splatoon. Sometimes we just want to, like, do some dumb shit. Like double tent, or double hydra. Sometimes it's just what we want. Just some really, really bad weapon ideas to queue with. Double Splattershot Jr.? Okay. Double Big Swig. Some of these are fun. Alright, that's not what this is about. The comfort rankings. 9 and O. That's a good little name. Top tier. We're going to be using X through F because some of these needed to be separated by tier. X tier is X-Blow and every Splatling in the game. I love them all. Granted, I could move Hydra down, but I'm still comfortable with it, so like, I don't mind. I don't mind him being here. The next tier. Prodeco. Below that, Blingza and a Machine. See, here's the deal. You gotta believe me on this. I love weapons that are really good and make you aim and demand tech skill. I love that about weapons. Sometimes I just don't want to aim. Sometimes I boot up the game and like, I just don't want to click a Splatling or an X-Blow. I don't want to click a sword. I don't want to have to very intently aim my weapon and hit the enemy. And there are a couple weapons that are perfect for that. Blingza is probably the strongest among them, but it's not the only one. Alright, in between rounds, I will read more of these tiers. But this is the... Is it A tier or B tier? With the Blingza and the Machine. Machine, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, it's like a great value X-Blow. It's less range, but it's a little faster, and the hitbox is still really fun and interesting. And I would use it constantly if, its specials were a little cheaper per, you know, per special charge. Oh god. It was worth it. And I'd use it even more if, Fizzy Bomb hadn't been nerfed and made much less fun to use. One of my only loadouts that is just committed to bomb spam. In fact, it might even be my only loadout committed to bomb spam. Was Machine double Fizzy the whole game. I was having so much fun doing like a Booyah Bomb and 4 Fizzies subsequently. What was that? Why did it bounce so far? It felt really good to put that many explosions to the map at once, and like, especially when I'm not in the mood to aim, it was a really good loadout for that. So Machine is up here. That was A tier. Below that, B tier, S-Blast 91 and Octobrush. You may not believe it. Blasters were the first weapons I fell in love with. Okay, I already said buckets were that, but before I saw the light of all the things Bucket could do, I really liked the 2-shot kill of blasters, which is a little funny to me, because in all of Splatoon 2, I never understood the point of blasters. Not once. It seemed completely superfluous. Have we gotten X-Blow one time since the rotation began, and never again? That's cruel and unusual. And punishment. To leave. Anyways, so I use the S-Blast 91 whenever I feel like I need to use a blaster that isn't a rapid, because I used all the rapids. All the rapids are pretty fun. I like them. And it's worth noting, when I say a kit, or a weapon, I normally mean both kits. This is the only one where I don't really even touch the other kit. Oh no. Get me out of here! Well, it didn't work out. The escape plan has failed. But yeah, this is the... Oh no! I don't touch S-Blast 92. For obvious reasons. The other weapons, I will use both kits, because they're both fun. This is not looking so good. Well, we tried. I see. Someone, like, stealthily walked up and closed my door, and I was getting really worried, like, who? What? Why had this happened? And then suddenly the loud construction fan is turned on a couple rooms over. Now I know why. I guess, shoutouts to them. Good. I'm glad. The other weapon in that tier, the B tier, for comfort. This is the comfort list. Don't forget it. Octobrush. Octobrush was the original weapon I discovered when I was looking for a weapon that I don't have to aim with. And it's really good for that. You only have to really think about your positioning, your timing, which fights you take. You don't have to think about your aim, which is sometimes exactly what I want. But the reason it's not higher is because, like, if I queue up with Octobrush too often, I start to get tilted. And I'll tell you why. The time to kill on Octobrush is so low compared to a lot of the other weapons in the game. Most of them, even. Oh, shoot. We censored it. Oh, shit. Is what I was going to say. My brain was just like, Splatoon, kid-friendly. For a moment. I forgot what kind of person I was. The type of person that just doesn't care about that. I will only ever say things like unalived as a joke. Don't worry. I'm trying to be as authentic as possible on these streams. It would be a real shame for me to end up streaming and feeling like I have to be a person who is not authentically me, just when I'm live. We'll get back into that in a second. Anyways, Octobrush. The time to kill is very, very low. You might find yourself picking the correct fight from the correct position and losing just because the other guy was playing the splatter shot or something else that can aim and just laser you down in half the time it takes for you to do the same to them. More than that, whenever the entire team has, like, whenever the entire enemy team is not front lines exclusively, you might find yourself really, really struggling with Octobrush. A single sniper can ruin your day. You can go from, like, being able to move about the map and have fun, pick good positions, do all the cool stuff. Suddenly, you can't move. Suddenly, you are stuck in the same spot. Because the sniper is watching the wall that you are behind and waiting for you to move. I mean, good for them. Maybe they've, like, assessed the threat properly. And in a team-based match where you can trust your teammates, you might expect your teammates to pull some attention so you can actually play the game. That doesn't happen in solo queue. So, yeah. Not the biggest fan of solo brush. It doesn't mean I still don't do it from time to time. And I can't play ink brush. As we discussed, arthritis is, like, my #1 enemy. Oh, I can't even use it. And yes, I've tried the binds. Have I showed my idiot brush bind before? It's not to call the ink brush an idiot brush, or a brush for idiots. It is specifically for how I found it. The only way I can maximize my speed with ink brush and actually hit as many hits as I technically can do in a second is to bind 2 of the D-pad arrows to right trigger, and then 2 of the other ones to nothing, and then roll my thumb around the D-pad. That was my best bet. That is my idiot brush bind. And if I ever get forced to use ink brush in Salmon Run, I like to turn that bind on. Because I've tried the LR bind for brush, and it's actually really, really difficult to figure that one out consistently. I use it for the other brushes. I use it for Octobrush and Paintbrush, because it is very, very nice. Not to be able to alternate between L and R, because that's still, like, very finicky with the timing. But to switch from mashing the right trigger to mashing the left bumper is a nice option to have. And when I play brush, I end up using the left bumper a lot more often as a result. And in the very next tier, Paintbrush is the first weapon. It wasn't here before. I didn't believe in Paintbrush whatsoever until the most recent patch, where the flick speed was increased. And granted, I don't believe in it too much, but I believe in it enough to use it when I'm not in the mood for aiming and just want to be a paint bot. Because it is really, really good for that in my opinion. Better than the Flingza in terms of paint output, but not better than the Flingza in terms of ability to protect itself. It's still not so bad at protecting itself. Oh, X-Blow on Mudmouth is awesome. Yeah, do it. Yeah! Good job, man. I wish that were me. The next tier, with the Paintbrush in it. I think that's the C tier? Am I wrong? I am not wrong. The other weapons in that tier. Comfort tier. Dowsers. Because I actually really like the Dowsers. It's the only dually that I can really stomach using. And that's because it's just a Splatling. Granted, it's just a Jet Squelcher with extra steps, but the Jet Squelcher is also just a Splatling with a slower fire rate. So I don't hate Dowsers. The problem is I can't use them too often because they're a support weapon. A support mid-backline kind of weapon. And when you're supporting a team in solo queue, you might just find yourself supporting nothing whatsoever. And it really does go, like, all over the place. I think I've told this story once, but I played like 10 games in a row with Sea Dowsers. And I like the weapon. That I can say. But I was not liking that day. Because every single time, the team was not with it, and I was supporting nothing. I ended up having to frontline, slay, backline, special spam. I ended up having to do it all. Which, I mean, if you've played this game in solo queue, I'm sure you've experienced before when, like, you queue up, and suddenly your entire team is on the same page as each other, but it's the wrong page. Like, they're on the wrong page. They've somehow unanimously agreed to rush the enemy spawn and completely ignore the middle. And your spawn, and so you lose the game because they're on the wrong page. I don't like that. It makes me sad, and it happened 9 games in a row. But I was still in the mood to use the Dowsers because I was liking the weapon and I wanted to improve with them a little bit. And I queued up for another game. And you know who was on my team? Obito. #1 player in the world for a while, Obito. I haven't checked the rankings lately. I don't know if we do, numerical player rankings anymore. But I know that Obito was there. And I could fucking tell with how he was playing. And it was amazing. I was suddenly supporting someone who was actually doing things. And that made me realize that, you know what, maybe it's not so bad. Are we stuck at 99? Does this not increase further than 99? That'd be really sad. Let's learn. Let's test. I've never seen the number go higher than 99, but I don't know, dude. I'm worried. I'm worried we're gonna miss out on things and stuff. And boy do I need chunks. Now that I'm, like, playing the game again, and not just playing Salmon Run all the time. Anyways, long story short, I ended up really loving Dowsers, so I don't drop the weapon. I use it pretty frequently. Okay, pretty infrequently, rather. But the thing is, in solo queue, I actually don't recommend using the custom Dowsers. I recommend vanilla. And I'm sure if you've been watching today's stream, I'm sure you know exactly where I'm going with this. Ink Mine. It is one of the most fun Ink Mine weapons in the game. Hands down. Because it has the tools to get up close. Since, like, what you do with dowsers is you slowly push yourself forward so that you can guarantee that your follow-up shots hit, and you have the tools to escape with the really, really long dodge roll. So, it ends up being a really, really good weapon for putting landmines down. And if you can stomach the smaller mines and maybe getting a bit of gear freedom, like losing, sorry, a bit less gear freedom, rather. Losing stealth jump for a main of sub power-up. Add a couple more ticks of sub power-up and you have some big mines. That is one of the more fun weapons for it. I really, really like doing that in solo queue. And Killer Whale is always a good thing to have. You have to play way more specific when you're using sea dowsers. See? Dowsers. Oh no! What was the other weapon in that tier? Oh. Peeking. Rapid! I like rapids! I do. I mentioned the Pro Deco earlier. That's the other weapon that I only use one kit, for obvious reasons. I'm not gonna use Vanilla Pro. Even in Rainmaker. I'm not gonna do it. It ain't me. But I like both rapids. Granted, one of them is a lot more fun than the other, but they're in a pretty similar place balance-wise. Obviously, I love Landmine, so I'm gonna use the Landmine Tri-Strike kit, obviously. But I definitely prefer the Jetpack Torpedo kit, just because of how fun it is. It's really fun to use. And every once in a while, I'll just have a game where I can just play Rapids and do really well. Which is great! But the reason I'm saying it that way is because it's not in the best spot right now in terms of balance. And there are times when, like, either the way the enemy team is playing, the way their comp is situated, or the way my comp is situated, will just make the Rapid a miserable, miserable time. That goes, like, similarly for Rapid Pro, but not quite as much, because with Rapid Pro, you can pretty easily keep yourself alive the whole game, so long as you don't commit to doing anything too crazy. It's a lot harder to do that with the regular Rapid. With Rapid Deco, it's a little easier because you have torps to bridge the gap and to protect yourself with rolled torps. With V-Rapid, though, landmines are fine, but that is a weapon with a lot of gear dependency. I don't end up running a lot of sub power-up, if any at all. In fact, I think my current build has no sub power-up on it. Which is a dang shame. A crying shame. Someone else grab those other 2 orbs. Put that, collect egg. Go. Oh no. What? I died to a fish stick! How did it happen? Alright, the next tier. We're getting into the D tier of weapons that I really, really like, but can't stand to use more often than not because of either the skill requirement, the balance requirement, and also Pencil is here. Because Pencil is, like, really, really good, and because I play Splatlings, it's not too foreign the way it plays. In fact, it kind of makes sense with the way I play backlines. That was about to be a very different word. But the thing is, I've never, like, gone out of my way to use the Pencil. It's not my favorite weapon. Oh no! I could see, like, if I did get into comp, I could see someone asking me to pick Pencil. Ah! And I'd do it. I'd be willing to do it. Even if Heavy Edit is in my top comfort tier. I am extremely comfortable and heavy at it, but if we need a pencil, I'll do it. In the interest of damage numbers and combos. I got you. But the other weapons in this tier, Wellspring. I love the Wellspring. It's like an Explo with a different flavor, like I mentioned earlier. I love it. It's really fun to use. It's just... Oh god, that was unfortunate. I got juggled around. It's just not the best. How do I even put this? It can really, really be a struggle sometimes. It's just using the Wellspring. Hitting your shots ain't so difficult. It's just the charge time being, you know, as long as it is. And the team comps on solo queue being as random as they are. You might find yourself as the Wellspring forced to do things... Oh god. Excuse me. Forced to do things that your weapon isn't particularly good at. Midline Wellspring. Paintbot Wellspring. It did cap out. Wow. We learned something today. I can hardly believe it. But them's the breaks. Your little thing up here caps out at 99. You just stop getting things. That's so sad. Is it gonna make me get things right now? No. I'm gonna end the stream in like half an hour. Then, only then, will I collect my things. It's not like I'm missing out on much. It's just chunks. He says after not 5 minutes ago saying, I need chunks. I'm playing the game again. The other two weapons in this tier, the D tier for comfort, Bucket and Sword, they're the two dedicated weapons. You have to be like really invested in them regularly in order to be using them right now. And I don't have enough time to invest in them. That doesn't mean I'm not going to use them though, because I still like using them. So that's why they're all the way down here. The final tier is, I'm not gonna lie, full of beans. I shouldn't have done that. It's full of weapons that aren't particularly good, or weapons that I just, like, enjoy playing every once in a while, or it's weapons that are good that I would like to be good with one day. It's a little bit of everything in this tier. And I will let you know in just a second. Okay, gals. I actually quite like the gals. I hate shooters in this game. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that I love the shooter class. I really don't. I don't like pointing at an enemy with my reticle and then counting to 4. I don't like doing that. It's not particularly fun. And the excuse, not particularly fun to me, not fun to me. There. That's the better phrasing, because it might be fun to somebody. I don't know. Probably is, considering how many weapons there are in that class. So, immediately, most of the shooters are off the table, and the way that Splatlings get around this is with fire rate. Because with Splatlings, it doesn't feel like aiming the reticle at them and counting to 4. It feels like you've got this laser coming out of your weapon, and you just have to concentrate the laser on your enemies for a brief moment and they go down. Sometimes that involves counting to 4. More often than not, it's just the sustained fire thing. It feels like a laser. I love that. But gals kind of subvert that a little bit. The gals are the two-shot weapons. They don't have horrible paint, but their kill power is genuinely great. Really, really strong. There is maybe no weapon I hate fighting more. Okay, that's not true. Than the 52 gal? Because 52 gal is really good at rushing down Explo and making your day miserable. But I don't like fighting snipers that much either. I don't hate it with Explo because I get a wall and I get a really cool projectile that can go around. I don't hate it with Pro Deco either. But most of my weapons are just outright countered by a sniper simply existing. So yeah, no. No thank you. Oh no, that's on me. You wanna know what happened? I had a plan, and I thought I would have time to scratch my nose for a second in between the plan and the execution. It did not play out that way. But speaking of snipers, another weapon in this tier, there is another shooter in here, but also, bamboo is here. I don't hate pencil, and bamboo is pretty similar to pencil, just a little cheekier. It can be very, very fun to just, like, put out a ton of shots with bamboo. Back to back to back. It can be a really good time. I can't get him. We're good. Look at him floating there. That was crazy. So bamboo is here. Jet Squelcher. You heard me talking about how much I like dowsers. Obviously, I can't hate Jet Squelcher if I like the dowsers. It's a shooter, but it's closer to a heavy than it is a shooter. A splatling than a shooter. The heavy TF2. TF2, everybody! Starts clapping. I would start clapping, but my hands are very busy. Throwing egg. Oh, I think I got that guy killed. Enough. I think I played with this guy before on stream. I think I called him Anufana, though. Is that possible? Oh god. Like the first or second Splatoon stream. Splatoon Salmon Run stream. There we go. I had them in different playlists because... obviously, if someone wants to watch me, like, playing the regular game of Splatoon, it maybe wouldn't be great if they clicked on a playlist and 90% of the videos were Salmon Run. It maybe wouldn't be great. The snakes scare me. Anyways, Jet Squelcher. It's unfortunate. I don't hate the Jet Squelcher. I can only stomach one of the kits. You know which one. I don't have to elaborate on that. It's just that even the rain kit is not good. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool farming for rain. I don't hate doing that. In fact, I quite like farming for rain. But I don't like fighting with that kit. For obvious reasons. Finally, we get the boss. I've been waiting. We're 52 gal. Right? Yeah. Alright, I'm just gonna laser down the big orb. If I can help it. I think I can help it. I might have just enough range. Oh, that's not much DPS. I immediately forgot the things I said when we started this rotation. Put me up there. This is probably my favorite boss to fight in the game. Which is unfortunate because he's one of the more, like, divisive, not in the community, but in terms of which weapons you're allowed to use. I like the weapons that you can just shoot his orb. You don't have to worry about the other stuff. Flatlings are really, really fun against this guy. Get me out of here. Bad plan, bad plan. I'm gonna die. Never mind. I want to say we kind of have this, but I don't think so. Maybe I should focus on defense. Ooh, that was a bad throw. But see, I focus on defense and no one else threw a single egg. Alright, shooting him. This should win, right? Yes! Let's go. I needed one of these. We had a little interaction just now. It's a certified TF2 interaction. I've definitely played with Anufana. Anufana. Whoever this character is, I know it. Anafana. There's so many different ways. I think I'll stick this out. Just to see if Anufana stays. Which is the pronunciation I'm sticking to. Well. So much for that. Alright, what else is in this tier? The final tier? Tent. There was a time when I considered myself a sword and shield main in this game. Which is to say, tent and stamper. Those are my favorite weapons for a little time. No longer. The thing that actually made me stop playing tent... I mean, there's a couple of, like, difficulties that tent runs into. Obviously, it's not an easy weapon to use. The shield's relatively easy to set up, and you can science out the best spots to use the shield, but here's the thing. It gets rushed down, and unless your aim is perfect, you're not gonna get out of that situation. The thing that made me quit is I entered a Splatfest right when Fizzy Bombs released. Not Fizzy Bomb. Fizz Bangs. Right when Fizz Bangs released. And I was so excited to play Splatoon 3 and use my favorite weapon, the Tent Umbrella. So I queued up, I put up a shield, and I did what you're supposed to do. I walked with it and started firing. For the rest of that game, every time I put up a shield... By the way, this is one of the things that this weapon's really good for, glowflies. It's a great filter because it one-shots all the lessers. Struggles versus Goldies though. Anyways, the rest of that game, every single interaction was the entire enemy team throwing fizz bangs at my shield. And because my team was doing fairly well, the enemy always had fizz bangs. And here's the thing about that. When a fizz bang hits a tent shield, it goes up into the air for a second, and then it drops down and explodes. So if it hits the front of the shield, you would be fine. But then it goes up in the air, and it lands on you. And that happens 3 to 4 times in a row, every time you use your shield. So, what I'm trying to say is, your shield is useless. Your shield is genuinely useless in Splatfest. It is so unfun. The way that fizz bangs interact with the Tent Umbrella shield. That it completely disheartened me on the whole weapon. I just suddenly realized, like, I don't want to deal with this kind of shit anymore. So I still pick it up once in a blue moon, when I'm just in the mood for the big tent walk. But especially during Splatfests, I tend to avoid that weapon. And even when it's not a Splatfest, it's still, like, hitting the one shot with tent, it's necessary to keep yourself alive. We found a Nupana again. It's necessary to hit those one-shots to keep yourself alive, and those one-shots are not easy to hit. And frankly, Tent is the only Brella that I can really stomach. The other ones are pretty cool, especially now that Recycled has better paint. That's the word. I like that. Unfortunately, it's still a really, really precise weapon without a lot of unique stuff that it brings to the table. All the shield mechanics, it feels like they don't work with Splatoon 3. That goes for every Brella except Tent. So yeah, that's the bottom line with Brellas. I don't tend to use them. This is not looking good. Oh! I'm actually surprised that play worked out. Wait, how did he explode? What happened to him? I don't understand. This is awful, by the way. This single UFO just spawned like 4 Cohawks in a row. That was abysmal. Alright, the rest of the weapons that I'm willing to use. Toothbrush is there, because Toothbrush is fun. It's just something weird happens when I play the Toothbrush, where I get like a little too amped up. I like to relax when I'm playing a video game, and the thing about the Toothbrush is it unrelaxes me. I'm not bad with the weapon by any means, but it kind of tenses me up. So I try not to play it. Every once in a while I just really want a nice slaying weapon though, so I will pick it up once in a blue moon. There are 2 weapons left. Dynamo. If Dynamo was good, I still probably wouldn't be a Dynamo main. But I do like the weapon. It doesn't feel particularly bad to use. It just doesn't feel very, like, perfectly balanced to the game. That's all. Did you know you can kill the... Oh god, nope, not this time. Wait a minute, they're camping my jump. Oh no. You can kill a scrapper with the ink exhaust of the inkjet. And it's not too difficult to do when they're not surrounded by enemies and other hitboxes. Get him, Manufana. Now's your moment. Or don't. Beautiful. So yes, I like to play Dynamo every once in a while, but the last one is the Splash. The regular Splash. I don't like End Splash because it's too passive. And I do like to relax, but I don't feel very relaxed when I play End Splash. In fact, I feel pretty pretty stressed out when I play Splash Neo. Because it feels like if anyone wants to walk up to you and stop you from playing the game, if they're like relatively good at pushing buttons, then there's not much you can do. Oh, I should have stuck it out. Oh well. It's really sad that you get locked out at 99 rewards. I was really hoping that it would keep going. We'll be fine. I mean, we're still getting 99 rewards. We'll be okay. But yeah, that was my list. It took me like an hour to get through. Can you tell I actually put like a good deal of thought into it? Despite it having nothing to do with game balance, just like personal preference, comfort tier list. Those kinds of lists are really, really useful for just organizing your thoughts into one place. And not to start the tier list rant again. Because I don't like it when people use a tier list for literally everything. Sometimes some things are not good for the tier list format. But the tier list format is incredibly versatile. So many things work well in a tier list. I was there. Okay. I was like big familiar with a tier list from all the Melee playing. And then suddenly, overnight, every video by every creator on YouTube was a tier list. It was the iDubbbz tier list video, the, like, fast food tier list. Suddenly, like, everyone realized this was a kind of content that worked on the platform, was easy to do, and was just something you could organize your thoughts into. And they did it for everything, even where it wasn't applicable. Even where, like, what they were really trying to express was more like a top 10 list. Uh-oh. And that bugs me. I know, it's like a petty thing. Thank you. It's petty, it's kinda dumb. But growing up with, like, competitive Melee, tier lists have always been a really good thing to articulate... Articulate? Whoa! To articulate very, very specific thoughts on comparing things to each other. Because some comparisons you just can't quite make with, say, a top 10 list or a specific ranking. But a tier list does them a justice. Like there being a tier gap in between things. Like when things are so different that there's straight up an empty tier in between them. That's the kind of thing you can't express in a format that isn't a tier list. On one hand, it does make me happy that, like, at least people know what tier lists are now. Regularly. Outside of just competitive communities. Because that's what it was. It was just competitive communities that used them. And now they're everywhere. So I hate to say it. I hate to bookend that conversation, but you will see several tier list videos. From me. Because it's... I mean, I don't like to make a video with the intent of making a tier list. Well, I don't do that. I make a video with the intent of articulating very... Oh, that was bad. With the intent of articulating very specific thoughts, and it just so happens that... Oh, a tier list is the best way to articulate certain thoughts. Like the solo queue weapons in Salmon run. Uh-oh. Do it. Get me, I'm right here. Thank you. I don't think we have it. We tried. It's fine. It's a little elitist? Yeah, it's a little elitist. To be using tier lists that way. To be seeing, like, some people who use tier lists as, like, you're just doing it wrong. It's a little elitist. But it's how I feel, damn it. It's true to me. What remains? I think we've done it. I think we've gone through all the thoughts I needed to get out today. And considering this is about a 3-hour stream, I should have plenty of data to pull from when it comes to getting the specifics of my mic the way I want them. I'm sincerely sorry to anyone whose, like, favorite game is Pikmin 1. Because that was the stream that I first started doing this, and I really appreciate it that people stuck it out and, like, actually showed up in some of these streams where my mic wasn't perfect. Where the audio was kind of frustrating. I hope those days are behind us. I really do. But it's very possible that I never settle on, like, how I like the mic sounding, and I'll constantly be changing it for the rest of time. It's possible. One thing I've failed to mention ever so far. It's about streaming itself. So given the way my brain works, with the, ADHD-addled amalgam that it's become, before I started streaming, even, not today specifically, but in life in general, I would just speak while playing a video game. Just, like, take the thoughts that are inside and express them on the outside. It's just what I do, you know? And so, like, when I started thinking about doing streams myself, it seemed like a perfect fit. Like, you're telling me there is a format for talking while playing video games? Granted, I didn't like the Let's Play format, personally. For me, at least. That kind of concerted, like, 10 to 30 minute, heavily edited, or I don't know, that kind of format just doesn't quite jive with me in the way that long-form live streams do. These are perfect. So it was a natural kind of fit, wanting to stream. And I won't lie, at first, I was kind of worried about something. Even after the first couple of streams, I was kind of worried that I'd start getting nervous. This is a stupid thing, but I'll be playing TF2, and I'll do really, really well. And suddenly, I'm like driven to leave the game. And I think the reason is I start getting really, like, nervous to live up to the person I intend to be. And, like, the fear of failing to do that exists. And even in a game as simple as, like, casual TF2, if I start doing really, really well and carrying the team, and it becomes, like, known, it makes me feel really, really bad when I do badly. Like, really, really bad. So I tend to avoid that by just leaving, which is not a very healthy way to deal with that kind of emotion. Hell, it's only something that I've been, like, noticing and challenging recently as to why I do that and should I do that. The answer is no, and you just heard the why. Oh, you know what? I wanted to show a certain song on stream. It's fine. If you have time, I will show this one stream, that's for sure. We'll listen to the whole thing. If you go to SoundCloud, because it's not on YouTube, and you look up playing Super Mario World while eating mushrooms, or while taking mushrooms, that's the name. You'll be blessed with one of the best things you've ever heard. That's all I can say. But back to the topic. I was nervous that I would fail to represent myself adequately when I was streaming. And I know that's like a simple, stupid thing, like how can you be anything less than yourself when you're just streaming, you know? But I'm not gonna lie, it had me a little nervous. Especially earlier on, I was like, is this even sustainable? Will I be able to continue being me throughout a stream? Especially if it's a longer stream, like 6 to 8 hours? Will I, like, lose myself and become that, like, really boring streamer thing where you're just not saying anything for 30 seconds straight? And then you make, like, a noise like, ugh. And then another 30 seconds passes? Will I be able to authentically be myself while keeping, like, some sort of value to what I'm putting out there? Some sort of entertainment value, rather? Turns out it wasn't that hard, it wasn't that serious. And there's the lesson again of don't take yourself too seriously when you do this kind of thing, because you'll just be setting yourself up for, like, nerves and failure. disappointment, rather, I think is the word I should have used there. But here's the deal. We've done, this is 2.5 months of streaming now. Pretty regularly, usually every other day. Sometimes every day. Or rather, sometimes 2 days in a row. Sometimes 2 or 3 days go by without a stream. But usually it's every other day. And genuinely, doing this, as simple as it is, gives me something genuinely that I look forward to. Which is weird to say, considering it is as simple as, like, playing a video game and speaking and hitting the record button, and that's it. I didn't expect this bit, especially at the beginning. I thought I was gonna be like, oh no, here we go again, we gotta do this, let's get it done, let's go. I was worried that's how I was gonna start every stream, because that's, at the very beginning, that was how a couple of the streams felt. No longer. Now, genuinely, when I'm not streaming, I'm like brainstorming little ideas. I'm like, ooh boy, what's a really shitty go live notification I can use for the next stream? What's a game I should be playing? What can I do to make things even more fun for the people that do show up? It ended up being like something I'm excited to think about, something I'm excited to look forward to in my day. And that was a little unexpected. And I'm really glad for it. Turns out, I like to stream. It turns out. Turns out this shit's pretty fun. So for as long as I am able, obviously I will keep doing it. Not to get all sappy on you, like I've been doing for the last several minutes, but I mean, you know what I intend to do here. I intend to be authentic and not hide my thoughts and let you hear the things that are on my mind. And this has been on my mind. It's like, it's cool, this whole streaming thing. It's great. Cope, mauled. He's nervous. This shit's genuinely fun, and I'm looking forward to doing more of it. I'm looking forward to sharing some of my favorite games with people. And it, seriously, means the fucking world to me that anybody shows up, especially when people show up multiple times to different streams. It fucking means the world to me. That's awesome. That's so, like, it's kind. It's really cool. So, like, seriously, thank you. Thank you, people, for showing up when you do. And when you don't, fuck you. I'm kidding. No, thank you, is the bottom line. I appreciate that shit. It's great. I'm gonna keep doing this, and I have the confidence to keep doing this now, which I was not... That was my biggest fear, was that I would not have the confidence to continue doing this. Now that I, like, know what I'm in for fully. Isn't that weird how the wave only, like, reaches up this slope? It doesn't get all the way up? Oh, that's trippy. Are we gonna lose? We have to win. Oh, we already did. We're good, we're good, we're good, we're fine. I did not contribute too much. But yeah, those are my thoughts on streaming. Granted, there have been headaches. There have been so many fucking headaches. I'm incredibly hopeful that this is the end of the mic escapade. Escapade, which is definitely how that word's pronounced. I'm hopeful that this big mic journey is ending. That would be very nice. Well, you did it, Explo. I'm proud of you. But other than that, things have been functioning, and I'm happy about it. The goal for this was that, especially early on, that I'd find the settings and the fine-tune the things so that I could just, like, on a whim be like, I want to stream this game and do it. You know? The last thing I want is for, like, life to get really busy, and to then have to spend multiple days at a time just stressing about settings when I, like, need to be focusing on other things. And you know what's weird? Okay, so I've already said multiple times, I'm having a really fucking good time doing this whole streaming thing. So much so that I'm, like, ignoring other projects. Again! So that I can A, stream more, and B, make my streams more fun for me and for the people that come by. Which is not particularly good for a couple of things, like, it's good for growth of a live stream, sure, to be live more often. It's not good for growth of, like, the other things, like, I have the Splatoon channel, I have the main channel. It's good for the VOD channel, a little. But it's not the best thing I could be doing. Hopefully soon I find a way to, like, balance it out better. But I think that really is one very specific thing. Normally when I have a project that matters a lot to me, especially when it's a script for, like, a video, that I intend to say something very specific, I'll get, like, in a mood, and I'll just work on it non-stop, and I'll have a blast doing it. And then the next day will come, and I'm not done with the project yet, but I'll have to continue it, and I'll get really stressed out by just finishing the rest of the project. Because as the project gets closer to completion, for any project, the specifics of, like, wording and small details become more and more important. And so I start to sweat the specifics. That's the term that I think is used. Sweat the details. I start to sweat the details. There we go. Sweat the specifics. New term. Just dropped. But the thing about the stream is that I don't feel that when I have to do something for the stream. I think that's what I was trying to articulate earlier. Which is very cool. To load off my mind, if nothing else. That I can, like, work on the stream without feeling stressed out by it at any time. Work on the stream in big air quotes. Because honestly, what kind of work is it? Fooling around with audio settings. And speaking while playing a video game. What kind of work is that? It's not. That's the answer. Are we Squiffer? No, we're 52 again. That's interesting. But thanks for letting me ramble about that bullshit. It's been on my mind, and if something's on my mind, you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm not gonna shut the fuck up about it until it's exited my mind and through the vessel of my mouth entered the world. What was that sound that just played when the UFO broke? That didn't sound right. It sounded like the sound was just, like, cut off halfway through. That was odd. Oh no! Do you want to know what game introduced me to gyro controls? Rather, introduced me to actually being willing to use the gyro controls and learn the system? Risk of Rain 2 on the Switch. Can you believe it? I didn't realize how good gyro aiming could be until I played that game for like 400 hours on the Switch port alone. Oh no! X-Flow, it's all you. We believe in you. Thank you. I knew I was right to have faith in my favorite gun. Alright. I'm out of here. I think that's a pretty good note to end the stream on. A cool Boris W. As in, we got a W over Boris. Boris did not get the W. Poor Boris. Boris. I quite like the nicknames for the King Salmonids. I quite like them. I like how Megalodon is just Joe. Megalodontia. Sorry, different guy. I like how he's just Joe. Because, like, there was a mistranslated tweet on the Splatoon Twitter, which I don't even know if it's still active, considering how much of a dumpster fire Twitter is. Let's jingle some keys, by the way. But they made one post saying Joe, and the entire community was like, yep, that's Joe. That's him. That's him now. Forever. EM become Joe. And I love that about him. I'm being a little bit careful not to let certain gear slip me by, because I've been struggling with certain outfits. Ooh. We're gonna keep it. I don't normally do that. I think that's the first time that's been done on one of these streams. Me keeping an item. And it's gonna happen twice. Nope. There we go. 3 times! I've been needing special charge up lately. I have so few pieces of gear with that. I've been getting a little desperate. Oh boy. 4 times in once. That's beautiful. That's so good. Oh man, I could really have used that last night. That would have been really useful when building the... Oh. I was building a vanilla rapid kit, and I ended up having to, like, splice it into my tent fit, and changing what the tent fit does. It was a mess. I won't lie to you. Wow, and we actually got a swim speed chunk, which is exactly what we need. I might redo the fit again! Oh boy. Well, it's a good thing I didn't go through all the trouble of re-sorting my stuff, because I have a couple new fits to sort, if you're curious. Here they are. This is the rapid kit, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's the tent kit, but with a different hat. I do like the tent kit, though. What was the other one? I could not find anything else to do with the rapid. This one. We have a paintbrush kit now. I've been looking for an excuse to use these glasses for ages. Aegis, even. But now that we have 3 new kits, it's gonna be a real mess trying to put them all in here. It really does just mean I'm gonna have to do this with every single fit. Add text. Don't actually add text. Hit the spacebar. And then say you're finished. That'll move it all the way to the top. I'm gonna have to do that about 100 times for all these fits. All of them. I like this. Anyways. That's enough Splatoon for one day. I have 2 things left to leave you with. This is the truth. And those things are this gamble. Okay. Actually, this gamble. Beautiful. I repeatedly roll until I get a title or a banner. To my wallet's detriment. This is fine. Okay. Here is the other thing I have. I found 2 clips while I was going through my nonsense. This is one that I mentioned many, many streams ago, but I couldn't find it. It's here. It's opposite day in these clips, both of them. Today, I'm killed by Grisco. Not the salmonids. You just fall through the floor, I guess, when you're rolling with... Let me see. Rolling on the very bottom of a slope with ink brush, you just fall right through the floor. One more time. There we go. But... And the salmon are saving my life. You saw. However bad the quality is on the Switch's flashback recordings. I was dead. I was 100% done for. If he didn't show up there and save me, it'd be over. I thanked him. I even gave him like a nod at the end. God damn it. What a lovely little game this is. So you can definitely expect more Splatoon stuff going forward. Hopefully I'll work on some of these scripts and, you know, get them all the way done. So we can actually have the Splatoon channel be a real thing instead of just this hypothetical property that I keep mentioning. Whoa. We're done. Thanks for watching. What just happened? Did my stick drift? Did the camera drift? What was that? Let's just... There. It's better. I appreciate you coming by. I'm gonna go now. Keep an eye out for tomorrow's possible Wobble Dogs stream. And we'll finish Pikmin 2 right after that. Thanks again.